Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Thoughtful Movement and Fitness with myself, Clayton Taylor, where I take you through my workout. We talk about the what and the why in the hopes that you might better answer the what and the why of your own workout program. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get right into it. If you've been here with us before, you know that I like to start with walking in place and shoulder rotations. It's easy. I like starting easy. The more barriers we can remove, small circles going backwards, the more barriers we can remove from actually getting to exercise, big circles going forward, for me, the better. Reason being is that I find it's easy to find an excuse to not, big circles going backwards, to not get my butt to the gym. So, partly because of that, I've spent a lot of my life working out at home. So this series will be a series sharing with you guys exactly how I do that. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully you guys get something from it. We're gonna go to what I call safe, or I should say what the Pops called safe, because I learned this from him. You're gonna start with your feet together, and then you're gonna step over kind of like you're going into a squat. I mean, it really is, not even kind of, it is a squat. But you're stepping over with a squat action while making a safe motion with your arms, okay? Notice a lot of people when they do this, they want to kind of do this kind of arm action. I want you guys keeping your arms pretty straight here, okay? And you'll feel the reason why. It's because that lactic acid buildup will get you. So if you do feel that, make sure, stepping a little farther back here, make sure that you are willing to take a rest and do a gentle shake to shake that lactic acid out if it's burning something fierce for you. Something fierce. Don't think I've ever said that in my whole life. That's what being on camera will do for you guys. You'll say things that you never thought you'd say. Okay, so I've gotten a nice little warm up from that. Along with my talking, I can already feel I'm a little short of breath. My heart rate is elevated. My body's feeling warmer. I've also done multiple takes, so I'm building up a cumulative warm up here. At home, you should be feeling a nice, gentle warm up as I go into my next. We'll call it a warm up, but it's really the first resistance exercise we're going to do as well. So, along with those warm-ups, which we'll come back to, we'll do some more cardio as we come back around, but I'm going to start with some body weight squats. And the reason why I'm doing body weight squats is partially as part of my warm-up is because I find it really helpful to bring my knees through their full range of motion. Well, I guess full range will be a little farther down to about 90 degrees for myself. For a warm-up. Just like you're sitting on the toilet. Or I guess a low toilet in this case, but okay, something we all do every morning. But it's a nice warm-up because there is, while it is certainly anaerobic in its core, if you speed it up a little bit, as you can see that I just did, you can definitely get a cardiovascular component as well. So you'll see a lot of the stuff that we do is very similar movements executed with different strategies in mind. We'll talk about that as we go along. But for this, we're getting both an anaerobic and an aerobic component. And I'm done. There we go. Whew. Now, I was approaching what we call failure, but I wasn't quite there. I was close, but I wasn't quite there. And the reason why I pulled out before true failure, which you'll see me go to later in the workout, is because it's early in the workout. There's no rush. That said, I can feel I actually did push it pretty good, so I can grab myself more water. I'll be right back. Grab yourself some water too, please. Okay. Hey, what? Okay, so we're gonna continue the trend of using anaerobic work as a continuance of a progressive warm-up into the more aggressive resistance stuff, whilst also bringing the cardio stuff back around to intermix. So we'll talk about that as we go again, but we're gonna right now do some lighter weight arm circuit, okay? We're gonna do a lighter weight arm circuit. I'm gonna start with bicep curls. You know what, that's a little heavier than I wanna do. We're gonna need to start even lighter than that. Okay, now we're gonna start true lightweight. Okay, nice and slow and controlled. Notice, keeping my core engaged, my feet are about shoulder width, my knees are soft. What that does is it allows me to create a bit of a saddle for me to engage my core and kind of rest that core in. So you can see, as I do it, I'm keeping my core engaged and therefore my lower back completely static, right? We're not doing this action. That's how you're gonna get a sore lower back, okay? So, I want you to go ahead and, with me, finish this one out so you're all done. And that, in this case, is not true failure, okay? All right, I'm gonna put one of those down. And we're gonna turn it around for tricep extensions. Again, your feet are gonna be about shoulder width, nice soft knees, core is engaged, back nice and flat. You can see that curve in my lumbar, okay? I'll try to do it without flashing you guys the belly. Okay. You're probably gonna get a little belly, that's okay. Okay, so I'm probably a little wonky just because I'm trying to show you guys so good, so I'm gonna look at myself in the mirror, make sure my form is good, and not just looking good on camera. Okay, so I can see myself now. Notice, same thing, core is engaged, my back is nice and flat. It is a slight curve in that lumbar, but that's what we want with I'm not curved, I'm of a natural curve there, okay? Then I'm going to about 90 degrees. Ooh, I'm getting a little wonky with my elbows there. I'll make sure you keep those elbows nice and tight to your head. And then round, bring it back around. Remember, we always end any set with a repetition that's in its eccentric phase, meaning that your muscle is elongating during that final movement, getting you a stretch by the end of your workout, or by the end of your lift. So always make sure, a lot of people, when they're doing the tricep extensions, they come up and then they're done and then they want to bring it over their head, okay? That's not the end of the world, but we won't try to avoid that, mostly so we don't bonk our head on the way down, but just as much because getting that final eccentric motion is going to get you a stretch and then safely around the head, okay? You're gonna have to grab both those dumbbells again. Again, this is relatively lightweight, okay? Same weight that we used for the bicep curls, same weight that we used the single dumbbell, the same setting for tricep extensions. I'm gonna try to take a step back so you can see me a little bit better, okay? Core engaged, all the stuff we talked about, feet about shoulder width, soft knees, all that good stuff. Now notice my elbows start at my ribs. Look where the weights are. The weights aren't out here, weights aren't way back here. They're right where I sit comfortably, okay? Right along that midline. Kind of right there is perfect, but you know, it's okay to be a little bit natural. You find where you are right in this kind of midline spot here. I like to imagine there's a piece of plexiglass on my front and my back kind of squishing me like an Oreo. Okay, so from this position, notice I'm rotating my palms to face forward by the time that they're all the way at the top. But they come down all the way every single time. Make sure they maintain good control of them. If they feel a little wonky, make sure you focus on that stability. And if you're unable to maintain the stability, consider lowering the weight. I'm gonna go a little faster. Okay, so I'm gonna take a pause because in the camera, it looked like I wasn't doing a very good job of keeping, ooh, I guess it's this one, this hand flat. So we always talk about when we're lifting, generally speaking, we wanna keep straight wrists and flat fists, meaning your fists are flat on top, generally speaking. It's hard, it's weird to do it from the single. And you have a nice, solid, straight wrist. You can see how that is nice and stable there, okay? So, I wasn't doing a great job of straight wrist, flat fist, so I'm gonna start back over, although not at the beginning because I'm tired from what I did. There we go. That's a better. Okay. Woo. So that wasn't true failure. But I was done. My mind, my body was like, you don't really want to do those anymore. I had a nice lactic acid buildup. And I did get a nice resistance, especially with those kind of two half sets mashed together. So this is a good point to mention. There's nothing magical about going to any certain amount of reps. There's nothing magical about pushing yourself so hard that you want to die, okay? So one of the things that we talk about here, and one of the things that you see me practicing, again, is what's called auto-regulation or self-regulation, which is a fancy term to say you're driving your own workout, and that, in my opinion, you are intuitively listening to your body to decide what the next best step of your workout is. Granted, we always go in with a plan, but plans are not always the most effective when followed through. Sometimes plans are most effective when we recognize a space for value and we divert from that plan in order to make the workout overall more valuable in that moment. If you're a trainer out there listening to me say that, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and probably in a bajillion other industries you do as well. Planning is essential, but plans are futile. I messed that up. Plans are useless, but planning is essential, I think is what the quote is. And I don't, sorry, I wish I knew who that was, but it is a classic, and it's real. Meaning, not only though that we have an idea of what we're doing going in, which our plan today is a full body workout, so that's our what, and our why being for that same question is because for me in the program that I have set up right now, the best workout that I can do is a full body workout, meaning I'm gonna get a cardio component, and then within the resistance components, I'm gonna get lower body front, lower body back, upper body front, upper body back, which basically is just a squat, a deadlift, a push, and a pull. And you'll see me go through all those today. I am also doing an arm circuit, as you saw, but I'm kind of using it a little bit as fodder for the rest of the workout. It's a little bit of filler, right? It's a little bit of stuff to fill in the spots that I know that I'm gonna hit, because I know I'm gonna do some cardio, which I've already done some, squats, which I've already done some. I know I'm gonna do deadlifts, and I'm gonna do a push, and I'm gonna do a pull, okay? By the end of my workout, I will have gotten a complete full body workout. And be good for a workout in a couple days, or for a couple days. That doesn't mean I won't work out tomorrow, but I don't have to, because I've hit up my whole body to a point where I'll be in recovery for a little while at least. So because I've sat there talking to you guys for a minute, we've cooled down a bit, and we are gonna go back into a floor exercise, which will serve to start bringing ourselves back up in warmth and exertion. So these are snow jacks. They're just like jumping jacks, but we're not jumping. Instead, we're doing a marching motion with our feet, okay? So notice, you make sure you have got a nice clear space and that you can reach all the way around. Make a nice big circle and then, yep. I wanna move those knees to about 90 degrees, okay? Knees to 90 degrees. Okay. Now notice I'm doing it fairly aggressively. You can slow it down, do it a little less aggressively, that's better for you. Notice though, if you are doing aggressively like I am, that you're maintaining control the whole time, okay? At no point are my arms flopping around or my legs flopping around. I'm doing it aggressively, but maintaining control of my entire body. Okay? Now I've got a little lactic acid burning going on in my shoulder, so I'm gonna take it easy. And I felt that raise my core temperature, and actually I shouldn't say my core temperature. I felt it get me going back again. Ah. Cut that out. Okay, so for today's at-home workout, you can see I've broken out the weightlifting bench. Now, if you don't have a bench at home, you can do these same exercises from the floor. You'll notice in particular with the rows, you won't get as much of a range of motion, that's okay. And then with the push-ups, with the chest press, kind of the same thing, because if you're doing it on the ground, you know, your arms are gonna be stuck at that 90-degree angle, which is actually a really nice safety net for folks who are learning. If you have the bench at home and you're following along, again, just make sure you're super safe. Take care of yourself, especially if you're barefoot like I am. You know, you don't want to smack your foot on the bench. You don't want to drop a weight on your foot. If you drop a weight on your foot, you're for sure it's a broken foot. So know that it's paramount that you maintain control of your weights the entire time. Okay, we're gonna start with 30 pounds. Not that it matters. The number is not nearly as important as making sure that you select the weight that you can do safely. And that also gives you a bit of a challenge, you know, because challenges have the fun in it. Again, make sure that you're selecting a weight that works for you, and that you're being safe with. Okay. I don't know if this is the best angle for you guys, but we'll rock it there for now. Okay. So you'll notice I'm gonna go beyond that 90 degrees. If you're starting out, I don't want you to go beyond this 90 degrees. It's gonna be important to maintaining safety for your rotator cuff in your shoulders. But I've been doing this for a long time. And I like going all the way down. So I'm gonna do that. But remember, I've trained in a way that allows me to. And we can talk about that specifically in other instances at a later date. For now, I'm gonna focus on the set. Okay, whew, that was just right for me. Okay. All right, so you guys can see, I'm swapping over for a row now. We just did a chest press. So what we're gonna do now is work the complementary muscle system, okay? So we just worked our chest. It's really important that now we work our back so as to maintain proper balance. Now, we could refrain from doing back today and do back tomorrow, but my plan is a full body workout, so yeah, we're gonna go right into rows. Excuse me. Okay, so you notice I get my foot settled. You can't see it as much as I would hope, but you can see back here. Let's see if I can angle it down a little bit more. Okay, let's see. It's not perfect, but here you can see I have a nice solid foundation, okay? I'm squared up. I'm kind of using the bench almost like a peg leg, as if I was a pirate. Gar. Okay. I get myself nice and comfortable. I'm gonna put my back leg a little farther back because that's where I'm comfortable. And then notice I've got that curve in the lumbar that we always talk about, right? My core is engaged. My back is nice and flat. That's what we call a flat back, even with that slight curve in the lumbar. And then Clayton catches his breath. And what we'll do is settle down. Notice as I go down to reach, my back stays nice and flat. I'm lowering with my leg, and I'm hinging at the hip there. Okay? Now, motion itself is just like pulling a gas lawnmower to start. Okay, I'm feeling kind of wonky because I'm trying to display, so I'm going to reset myself. Notice how when I reset, I'm going to be more comfortable looking, and I will have found where I want to be in that setup. There we go. Don't ever be afraid to reset a lift. If it feels wonky, it probably is wonky. Notice I'm breathing out during the concentric phase, which is me lifting the weight. In this case. Ooh. Whew, you know what? I'm a little crampy on my right glute / hip. I think it's because I've got a kind of an odd position. All right, we're gonna try this again. Ooh, yeah, that's a little hippie. Okay. Oh, I see. I'm at an angle. There we go. Hopefully that helps. All right, we're gonna finish that setup. Notice, for unforeseen reasons, I didn't go through that full set. But I can always go back. You know what? This is wonky for me. Sorry guys, give me 1 sec. Okay, so important note, if your equipment's not working for you, adjust it so it does work for you. Okay, so what had happened is because my foot was up on that pad, my hip was getting wonky and it was throwing off my whole thing. So of course I'm tired now, so I'm not gonna get many reps out of the side, but I am gonna come back to it to make sure that I can get as many as I can get that's in a way that's not limited by that wonky hip. Okay. Come on, we got this, guys. We got this. All right. There we go. That feels much better without my foot angled up like that. And this is all the sets I'm probably gonna need because it turned into multiple sets. Okay. Whew. We're getting close to true failure. That wasn't true, but that was failure. Light failure, we'll call it. We'll go for a heavy failure. Heavier failure. before we're done. Notice I'm slowing down. I was doing it more aggressively at the start. I'm mixing techniques up in the same set. Okay. Whew. All right, no hip wonkiness on my when I switch sides because I removed that part of the machine and part of the bench that wasn't helping me get there. Make sure you take your rests as you need them. Okay. And since we are horizontally loading today, meaning that we are repeating exercises back to back, the same exercises back to back, I'm gonna go right back into it, and we're gonna do another round of rows, which by the way I feel right now is gonna be my final round of rows, because I think really, you know what it was? It was that one set where I was feeling wonky, so I kept redoing it. So that basically, like we said, turned into kind of a superset of sorts. A superset of sorts. You're gonna need to apply the de-esser for that one. The superset of sorts. Okay. We're gonna go for another round of the rows. I'm not gonna talk much, I'm just gonna focus on hitting failure, okay? Ooh, you know what? I'm getting cramped on that side. Oh, okay. So what you just saw me do was I got cramped and I fully extended to get a stretch with it. Yeah, we might be done. We might be done with rows. If you start cramping, I mean, there could be a lot of reasons behind it. Could be dehydrated, could be overexerted, all kinds of things. But generally speaking, if something doesn't feel good, I don't want you to keep doing it. Likewise, I will walk that walk. And I'll say, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do one more set on that side. It's not a set to hit failure as much as it's to see if I can do it without feeling the discomfort of the cramping. If I feel any cramping at all, I'm immediately gonna be done, okay? But I'm gonna feel it out. Okay. So I'm gonna go super slow as to get a good stretch with every rep. Oh, but that's feeling tight. So I'm gonna let that hang for a sec. Oh, and then I'm gonna lower it down. All right, guys, that's gonna be the set on my left side for my back. Feeling crampy on that side too. Okay, I'm gonna go nice and easy. This is slow and control. Ooh, I'm getting cramped on that side too. Okay, guys, so, getting a little stretch there too. Okay, so for me, I don't usually get crampy, or I don't usually feel cramps in my muscles as I'm doing stuff. That said, if you've been following along, you'll know that I'm recovering or have been recovering from a rib injury. So I'm kind of getting back into sorts. So for now, we'll chalk it up to that. The value there is recognizing that we don't have to, most cases, we don't have to let something that is a discomfort progress into something that is a pain. Pain, generally speaking, is indication of injury or impending injury or light injury. It's, on that gradient. The important part of this is to recognize that there's nothing magical about the plan that you set forward. In fact, a lot of times the most value can come from the adaptations that happen due to unforeseen circumstance or consequence. In this case, I started to get cramped up in my lats, in my back, which is what I was doing with my rows. First of all, I was pretty much at failure anyway. Arguably, I was at failure. So I count it as a win. Though the real win is the fact that I didn't continue to lift with my back, which was uncomfortable. Even though it was just cramps and I probably would have been fine, it would have hurt really bad, you know, and I don't want to hurt really bad. So we like to try to form a good association with everything that we're doing here in the gym so that we want to come back and keep doing it. On that note, you'll notice as I've been sitting here talking to you, I've come down in my kind of exertion, my perceived exertion, and I'm a little more relaxed. I'm ready to move on to the next part of our workout. But what is that? And here's the next part of the question. So we already talked about the fact that we're doing a full body workout. So that means that we do a cardio component, a lower body front, meaning quads or squats, lower body back, which means deadlifts, hamstrings, which we haven't done yet, and then upper body front and back, which is chest and back. So we've done everything but deadlifts. So we're gonna go ahead and get this workout moving again. I'm going to start with a little bit of just movement, though at this point in the workout, you might not feel like you even need any kind of cardio aspect added in. I know myself, I'm pretty tired, but you know what I think I'll do? And we're gonna go back to the start of this, which was part of the warm-up that I did today was bodyweight squats. I'm gonna go back to bodyweight squats, but I'm gonna do it similarly to the way I started today with a cardiovascular, not twist, but cardiovascular hue to it. Basically, I'm gonna move a little bit faster. It's gonna be a little bit less resistance because I'm gonna be using a little bit of momentum to pick up some of that resistance. But what's gonna happen is that it's gonna create a more cardiovascular focused movement. And so I'm gonna stop stalling and talking about it and just do it, right? Okay. So we don't need this again right now. Bodyweight squats, we're gonna start with that cardiovascular aspect in mind. Where it's gonna be a little bit quicker moving than when I'm just doing squats straight up. Okay. And it might not look like a dramatic difference to you, but let me show you. I'll show you a nice slow one to start. Nice slow one, okay? And then we're gonna do ours starting like this. A little faster, just like we did at the beginning. Oh, this isn't gonna last very long because I'm tired from before. I'm gonna bring my feet in a little bit. It's gonna let me utilize my muscles slightly differently, allowing me to have a little extra utilization. Whew, you know what, guys? I was planning on picking up the weights here. I might not even do that for squats. We might keep them body weight today. We'll see, we'll feel it out. Whew, okay. My heart rate's going. Okay. I want to keep that heart rate up, so I'm not gonna give it a chance to come down too much. Get right back into it. There we go. Find where your knees are comfortable, like I just did. Oh, buddy. Okay. Feeling good. All right, we're gonna move on to some deadlifts. So I'm gonna do a couple body weight deadlifts just for the sake of going through the motion. Notice you start kind of like a squat, the beginning motions of it. But then what you do is you hinge at that hip and effectively load up your hamstrings to facilitate this movement. Okay, primarily hamstrings. There's a bunch of other muscles that are working to make this happen as well, but hamstrings are our focus. And the hamstrings are the muscles right here on the back, so the legs behind the knees, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and go right into lifting the deadlift for myself, fairly heavy. Highly advised that anybody doing it at home starts lighter, finds where they're comfortable with their lower back, learns how to do it in a way where you can make sure that you're being safe the whole time and keeping your core engaged in a way that you're not utilizing your lower back, your lumbar area, as an agonist. We don't want to be making movements with that lower back. We want to have that. We want to have those muscles focus on stabilizing your torso. Okay, and you'll see what I mean here. Okay, notice it's hard to see from this angle, but I'm just hinging at that hip. There you go. Make sure that I'm on point to show you guys, not watching myself too much. Okay. Focus is keeping that core engaged and that lumbar nice and stationary. Notice I'm also keeping my shoulder blades pulled back. It's helping me maintain control of that weight. All right, guys, notice key on that nice engaged lower back, okay? Make sure you catch your breath. Make sure you stay hydrated. Okay, we're gonna do one more set. I think we're gonna do those. I'm gonna finish out with a set of single leg deadlifts, okay? So you notice it's essentially the same thing as an RDL or a conventional deadlift in the sense that you go through very much the same motion, though half your body is coming up into a slightly different motion, and I'll show you what that looks like. Single leg deadlift. Ooh. Whew. Make sure, the number one thing is you're being safe. You know, we're gonna go back to double. You know what? I'm done, you guys. I'm tired. Whew. So, just like I just did, if you find yourself being ready to be done before your plan to be done, change your plan. It's okay. Let that be an example of me walking my walk. I've gotten a great workout today. I did a great job. The cardio was mild, but we got a cardio element in there. We did a great job with squats. We did a great job with deadlifts. We did a great job with pushes, and we did a great job with pulls. Okay, those are our 5 elements of a full body complete workout, okay? An aerobic element, and then an anaerobic element consisting of squat, a deadlift, a push, and a pull, basically. So, mission success, okay? Now, it is worth noting that it's always important to stretch, though with the technique that we've been using today, you notice we got a nice stretch with that eccentric phase as we're coming down. Basically what happens is, as we do our final repetition through that eccentric phase, our muscle extends, granting us that final stretch that we want to make sure that we get at the end of a workout or throughout a workout. That said, I like to get some active stretching. I tend to have tight hamstrings, and I like to make sure I've got nice open quads and hip flexors as well as I do hang stretch on my own. You won't see us do the hang stretch on camera. One day we will, but it's not set up for the stage quite yet. Know that if you choose to do a hang stretch at home, it's like everything else, safety.
Try again in a few seconds.
Oh, that was weird. My Google speaker just went off on its own. Okay. I don't even remember what I was saying. Anyway, it was wonderful hanging out with you guys today. Make sure that, oh, wait, no, I'm going on my outro. Damn, that threw me off. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of active stretching. I'm going to stretch my hamstring. I'm going to stretch my hamstring. We are going to do a bit of active stretching. I'm going to do my hang stretch off camera. And make sure that if you're doing it at home, you're being really safe, and we'll talk about how to do that safely in the future. But I'll go and do that off camera. That's going to give me a whole upper body stretch, and then on camera you will see me do both a quad stretch and a hamstring stretch. And we're going to start with quad stretch. Make sure that you find some place to stabilize yourself, and then you're going to bring that ankle up so that you are creating a nice flat front here, okay? The idea here is to really emphasize shifting the hip forward so that you can see that I'm getting a nice stretch in that hip flexor, okay? And as always, we relax into a stretch. And for roughly 30 seconds or so. Okay, and then gently release. Switch sides, same thing, facing the other direction. Okay. Make sure that once you're in the position, you shift that hip forward so that you create a stretch along the hip flexor, okay? Gently release. Okay, we call this one the umpire stretch because it's just like the way an umpire would stand at a baseball game. So you go down into partial squat, and then you straighten those legs to create a stretch on those hamstrings. It's gonna be better. Okay, so squat, and then straighten those legs and create a nice stretch along those hip flexors, okay? Notice I'm maintaining my back. It's nice and flat. It's important for maintaining stretch along the hamstrings. And then when you're done, go ahead and come out. All right, we're gonna show you a little less spread there. Notice my back stays nice and flat. Okay, you wanna hold the stretches for 30 seconds or so. I know I cut them a little short, but that's okay. All right, you guys, fantastic job today. We got a aerobic warm-up component with our floor exercises. We got a anaerobic component in the form of deadlifts, squats, chest press, and rows. And then we even got biceps, triceps, and overhead press. So we did a full body workout. We even got that active stretching in at the end. So good job today. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out via Instagram, the Instagram. Reach out. I'm around. You can reach me via social media, Twitch, at Clayton Taylor, NASM CPT. And we look forward to seeing you again for more episodes of Thoughtful Movement and Fitness with myself, Clayton Taylor. What do I do with my hands? Tune back in next week for our next episode of At Home with Clayton Taylor. That's not even the name anymore, is it? Okay, tune back in next week for Thoughtful Movement and Fitness. I guess episode 1, episode 2? I don't know what we're calling it. Whatever.